United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Reverend Crothers, am I right? Right. We'll give the invocation tonight. Please stand.
Father, we come before you this evening on business for the city, and we would thank you, as we did in a national day of observance of Thanksgiving, for all the bounty and blessings that you've given us. And so, Lord, we seek for your continued mercy upon the work and the activity of this city. Lord, I especially tonight would just ask that you might be with friends and family of Jerry Lee Williams, one of our chaplains who passed away recently. And we ask that you would just be with that family and just be with us that knew him and thought a lot of him, and for all the service and faithfulness he did in various communities, including serving here as a chaplain. Lord, bless now this meeting, this time, these that lead, all that serve in this city. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Could I ask the clerk to take the roll, please?
Councilman Templin.
Present.
Councilman Cisco is asked to be excused. Councilman DiGiulio.
Here.
Councilwoman Gabarecki.
Present.
Councilman Rourke.
Here.
Madam Pro Tem McLeod.
Here.
Treasurer Armstrong.
Present.
And Mayor Mategas.
Present.
We have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. I'd like a motion to approve tonight's agenda, November 28th.
Motion.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem McLeod, supported by Councilman Templin. And is there any questions or discussion?
Yes, I'd like to separate claims and accounts there tonight, Mayor.
Without exception, I will separate claims and accounts from the consent agenda. Any other corrections, changes? Hearing none, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That's carried. Thank you. The approval for the minutes of November 14th, the motion, please.
Motion, Mayor.
Councilman DiGiulio is moved. Do I have a support? Mayor Pro Tem McLeod has supported. Is there any changes to be made to those minutes? Seeing none, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That is carried. This time we're at the organizational business. The city administrator will give us his reports.
Okay, good evening, Mayor and Council. Just a couple quick items here. The DTE Energy contractor has finished the repairs on Allen Road at Belmont that were in the middle of the 3 lanes of traffic. And they also made a repair at Park Avenue and Moore Road that had been out for a while. Street sweeping will continue for approximately 2 more weeks, and basically until the snow flies. And I'm hoping snow flies longer than two weeks away, but 2 more weeks on the street sweeping, and then they'll be doing snow plowing. I guess at that point, DPS will be clearing the rest of the leaves out via the snow plow. Unfortunately, that's usually when they end up in somebody else's front yard and all that good stuff. So, the last day of compost to get those leaves picked up is by advanced disposal is going to be December 15th. So 2 more weeks or 3 more weeks on that, I guess, as well. The contractor for the water main lining on Lead Street will tie back into the water system tomorrow, and then they're going to start restoration by the end of the week, and they should be wrapped up here by the probably the end of the first week of December, middle of December. They'll be all wrapped up. And I think that'll take care of all of our construction projects for 2017 at that point in time. The Lady of Christmas Parade and the tree lighting at the Historical House, they went well. I don't know if everybody had a chance to get out there. Extremely well attended. We were able to put some pictures up on the Facebook page, and then I opened it up to offer some other residents to send their pictures over. And I think I posted probably another 60 or 70 pictures just from that. And they were some great shots that of the families and everybody enjoying themselves there. So it was a really nice event. And the weather held off for us perfectly as well. There will be a pancake breakfast with Santa fundraiser on Sunday, December 3rd, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. That's going to be at the fire station, and this is to support the Allen Park Firefighters Charities. The cost for that is $5 per person, and children under 2 years old are free. With the assistance of the Parks and Recreation Department, the city will be applying for a CDBG recaptured grant, funds grant. This was a community development block grant of CDBG. These are funds that were not spent by the other communities. Will be recaptured. They have to spend their money by December 31st. That money will be recaptured if they haven't spent it, and then the city will be applying for that money to be for a project here in Allen Park. The project proposal minimum is $100,000, and the timeline is very tight. The project has to be completed by April 30th of 2018. So basically 4 months. We're looking at getting that money spent before the county block grant program has an issue with HUD and their timeliness of spending their funds. The county anticipates receiving back in recaptured funds $1.5 to $2 million. That is the reason for the tight time frame to get that done. We will not be having any of that money, as none of that money being recaptured as Allen Park money. We are completely done with our projects. We got those completed within 16 months of the 18-month deadline. And that's a testament to Rain's office, Buccelli, Tom Murray, and him getting out there to get our streets marked and getting the contractor, Savone, Cement. Mario does a great job for us, and he really helped get that spent for us rather quickly, which we're happy about. For that project, I think we're going to be looking at a proposal going on the Humpty Dumpty Park. And I know Humpty Dumpty is mentioned later in the agenda for a Wayne County grant. If we're able to get this at $100,000, we'll move the Humpty Dumpty money from the Wayne County grant to another park project at that point. But we're going to continue forth with it where it's at this point in time. The Finance Department anticipates a draft of the audit next week, and tentative work session and a presentation to the City Council will be on the December 19th meeting. That is the second meeting in December. That is a week earlier than normal, as it would normally be scheduled for after Christmas, and we move that back at the beginning of the year to the 19th. And then I don't see Dave here. I think Dave was still coaching for the team. On the City Hall and Police Department project, the contractor started laying the concrete blocks out front for the new addition of in the front of the building, and you see the walls going up. When you're looking at the building from Southfield, the walls going up are the Police Department, Detective Bureau, and Officer in Charge areas, and then they'll be working on the administration side, the City Hall side, and within the next couple weeks, they'll have everything wrapped up. I think they plan on having all the block work done inside, or the outside work done by next week, or by the end of next week. And they'll be able to put the steel up for the roof and get the roof on, and hopefully have that roof on before Christmas time. And they were hanging drywall inside a couple weeks ago, and I think they'll be ready to hang some more drywall and get really moving on the inside. The City Hall side is pretty well framed out at this point in time. And the only other item I have is I mentioned last week, last council meeting, that the Allen Park High School will be hosting that tournament over the Thanksgiving. I said, make sure you show up on Saturday night, because they're going to be in the championship game. They were in the championship game, and they won the championship. So congratulations, Allen Park Hockey, on that tournament win. And Dave informs us that the Cabrini team is 2-2, so they're still holding their own as well. I think he said they're a little bit younger team. I'd asked them before, and I can recall years, many, many years ago, of the two teams playing at one time. I'd love to be able to see that maybe for a inter-city championship or something like that, but I think he's still a little ways away from that point in time, but eventually we'll hopefully see him competing on the same ice surface. Not in the playoffs, but maybe a regular season. So. And that is all I have.
Any questions of the city administrator?
I just have one.
Councilwoman Gavreki?
Thank you. First, just want to say thank you for making sure that all our CDBG money has been spent for our community. So the money, we be applying for this in December?
Yeah, actually, I apologize. The deadline for that is actually Friday.
This Friday?
This Friday. Yeah, it is a very,
Wow.
very, very tight time frame.
Okay. Well,
They need to have the money spent. If the money is not spent and there's an issue with at HUD that the county hasn't spent the money, there's 34 communities in the consortium, and if the money hasn't been spent, they will penalize us for future years. We just received notification, and it's on the agenda for tonight to schedule the public hearing, that our 2018 allocation is $98,910, which is the same as our 2017. And if they don't meet the 1.5 rule and the deadline of it's May 5th or something like that, that could be reduced significantly.
I'm glad they're allowing us to try to recapture the money to the communities that are spending it.
We'll happily apply.
I know you will. Thank you.
Put little smiley faces on it.
One more quick question, Mayor.
Councilman DiGiulio.
After the 15th, if they have any compost-type materials, just throw it in the regular trash, the residents?
I can't advocate that because I think that would be against the law.
Would it?
Yeah.
I mean, like they have leaves in the street, and, a lot of people do sweep their street, and,
I do know that the contractor is allowed to take a de minimis amount to the landfill, but I'm not too sure I can advocate that the people should throw it in their regular trash.
okay, thank you.
Please try to get it into the compost bin by the 15th.
By the 15th, all right.
You tell the
thank you.
trees to drop the
great.
rest of
It's
their
great for your
leaves,
garden.
please.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got one tree that holds on until the last minute as well.
Are there any other questions? Ask for a motion for updates and reports to
Support.
be accepted and filed. Moved by Councilman Rourke, supported by Councilwoman Gavrecki. Any further discussion by council? Hearing none, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That's carried. Thank you. We're at the public comment section. On the back of the agendas is the rules of decorum. I hope that you would use those as you come and either comment or questions for the council. And at this time, any citizens that wants to address us, please come forward.
I'm Angela Wagner, Reek Road. Our street is just inundated with cars because of 75. And myself and my neighbors are having such a hard time getting out of our driveways. I have neighbors going around the block, going to Manor, coming up to Midway to get out. I was wondering, can we get a sign at Allen and Reek saying not for through traffic or residential traffic only? It takes me a good minute and a half to 2 minutes to get out of my driveway because no one stops. And they don't let anybody out. And I've backed in. I try to get out. I don't want to hit nobody. But I don't want to wait there forever either. And by the time I get to the stop sign, which is 3 houses away, it takes me another 6 to 7 minutes to get to Goddard. And it's just a lot. And the police are doing a phenomenal job with the speeders, running that stop sign at Midway, the trucks. It's great. And I understand that 75 is the reason for this, but it's just getting out of control because these people aren't usually on our streets. And my husband gets mad at me because I'll say, they're on my street again. I know it's not my street, but we always have a lot of traffic because of the high schools, because of Cabrini and because of Allen Park High. But that's okay. That's our community. And I'm okay with that, and I'm okay with other people coming on our streets. But Reek Road is getting worse and worse, the road itself. And with all this traffic, I just don't know if we can put a sign there. I don't know that it will help, but something. Thank you.
Hello, Council. My name is Dan Gregory. I have a couple.
Dan whom?
Gregory?
Look that, yeah,
Sorry.
you're a taller man there, Mr.
Yes,
Gregory.
yes, I am. Dan Gregory. I live on Niver.
Thank you.
My question is about the medical marijuana ordinances that passed in May. I understand that you'd like to get anything out of residential areas. And that also you consider caregiving now a commercial grow. It says that you would like that to be in industrial areas. I'm all for that. I was wondering if you guys were actually willing to allow a commercial grow in an industrial area in the city. Applications start in December for the state.
I think the answer is it hasn't been decided yet. I think right now, cities can either opt in or not opt in.
Yes.
And I don't think the city has made a decision yet.
Okay. So, yeah, you have to have city approval first, and applications start for the state on December 15th.
Right.
Yes.
And there's no deadline for doing that, from what I
Yes.
understand.
No. Well, thank you.
Dennis Hayes, Carter. I wanted to make mention of the street sweeping. I heard city administrator mention that it's going pretty well, and I happen to believe it is going pretty well. And yet, I run into people on a daily basis who say they've never swept my street. And I call Matt, and he says, yes, I have. I have a documentation. He keeps a GPS and stuff like that. So I guess what I'd suggest is to the citizen watching or listening, they may want to consult our Public Works Department, because I happen to see the street sweepers all the time, and they have the dump truck there, and they unload them because they pick up all the debris and the leaves and such, and scoop it out and put it in the dump truck, and they haul it away. But I think what I hear most frequently is that the people who live down towards Melvindale, down Allen Road, Warwick, and probably Hannaford and those streets down there, they seem to feel like they're neglected, that they don't get, especially the ones closer to the tracks that are at the deep end of the street, where the railroad goes through. Maybe it's because they think the truck or the sweeper can't turn around or whatever. I also was wondering, I've read on social media lately that a lot of people are complaining that there are citizens who are raking their leaves in the street and leaving them there, which we know is not the way to go here. But the question would be, is there an ordinance about that? And if there is, I think we ought to announce it here loud and clear so that the citizens can understand that if that was acceptable at some past time, it's certainly not acceptable now. And the idea of a street sweeper is not to pick up piles of leaves, but rather to clean up the minimal debris that does find its way into the street. But I would just like to commend the Public Works Department, because I think they do a great job. And I know it looks like they have more employees of late than they had for a long time. They must have put on a couple new people. But nonetheless, they've struggled for a long time, and I think they're doing a very good job. I just want to make mention of that. Thank you.
Comment, Mayor? On what Mr. Hayes just was talking about the leaves, there is an ordinance that they can't be parked, put them in the street. Maybe we could ask our ordinance department to take a look at that.
Shorter. Bob Lloyd Robinson. First, I'd like to say I agree with Mr. Hayes. Maybe twice, but yeah, I see people raking their leaves in the streets constantly, and I know there is an ordinance on the books, and it costs all taxpayers more money for those street sweepers to have to unload, go back, unload, and so individually, if we could take care of our own leaves instead of putting in the streets for the totality of the taxpayers to pay for, I think that that's something better for the entire city. And just one more thing, I'd like to congratulate Mr. Rourke on the birth of a new grandchild. All right. Good job. Thank you. That's all.
See no one else coming forward, so we will move to the next item on the agenda, which is claims and accounts, which was separated from the consent items. Do I have a motion to put that before the council?
Motion, Mayor.
Councilman DeGiulio is moved. Councilman Templin is supported. Councilman DeGiulio, your question, sir?
Okay, on this labor attorney, it's on page 1, it's under administration. Seacrest, Wardle, and Lynch. $10,733 and I think 5 pennies. What's going on with that now?
Seacrest Wardle is the lawsuit that the Allen Park Retirees Association filed against the city. We just received communication today that Judge Hubbard had granted our motion of summary disposition with prejudice during the argument that was held earlier today. And the order will indicate that this is a final order and closes the case. The attorney for that, for our attorney, Mr. Pollard, did indicate that he felt that Mr. Porter may still appeal through the various options. So we'll have to see where we're at on that at that point in time.
If my figures are correct, this lawsuit that the retirees filed against us has cost us, what, about $275,000?
I'd agree with that. It's a pretty close number.
Okay, so hopefully this is the finality of it.
I would agree with you on that, too. I'd agree with you on that, too. I'm hopeful.
Hopefully, okay. All right, I guess one more question would be the labor service, the fire contract, that was about $10,486. Has anything been settled on that, or is that going to be a continuing thing?
At this point, it's still in negotiations.
Okay.
The firm there, Keller Toma, was that was Mr. Schwartz from a couple meetings, or from last meeting when we went to get an update on that contract in closed session.
Okay. And I see here we had some money, which is for Officer Phantom. He's, I guess, got some medical problems. And I wish him well, and I'm always glad to take care. I like pets, so.
Yeah, that's Phantom is the canine officer.
Yes.
We can't disclose what his medical condition is under HIPAA.
Well, it's the HIPAA laws, right? HIPAA law, I understand that, but I hope he's doing well. So that's all I had to say about that. Thank you.
Let's be clear, that is the police dog.
Yeah, it's the canine officer, the canine dog.
He has a badge around, he's an officer, he has a badge?
4 paws.
Any other questions by council? Hearing none, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That's carried. Consent agenda consists of the payroll report, bottle drive permit by the Allen Park High School cross-country team. Motion for those 2 items, please.
Motion.
Support.
Mayor McLeod has moved. Councilwoman Gawarecki has supported. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That's carried. Thank you. Resolution for the intergovernmental agreement with Wayne County for the 2017-18 Wayne County Parks grant allocation of $60,000 to improve parks in the city of Allen Park. Motion by Councilman Rourke, supported by Councilwoman Gawarecki. Is there any discussion? I think we heard earlier that we might move that if we receive some other.
If we're successful, yeah, then I think the projected for this allocation was for Humpty Dumpty and Briar Rabbit Totlets.
Okay.
Through the chair, I will submit it in the minutes as it's probably written on the agenda, so it doesn't lock us in to come back and re-vote on it. So I'll just write it up to accept the allocation grant.
Right, to improve parks.
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you.
If there are no further questions, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That is carried. Resolution to approve the city of Allen Park to join the Great Lakes Water Authority One Water Partnership.
Motion?
Support?
Motion by Councilman Templin, supported by Councilman DeGiulio. Is there any discussion? Maybe we should, for the audience and members, have the city administrator explain what we are doing here.
No, it's not DUA. It's not the Downriver Utility Waste Authority. I may ask Tom to jump in a little bit. I know he's been actively involved in this group as well. But basically the Great Lakes Water Authority, which is the supplier of water to the city, which we then turn around and supply to the residents, was created a few years ago out of the desires of the suburban communities to no longer be under the control of Detroit Water and Sewer Department. So that's when, with the Great Lakes Water Authority was created at that point in time. I, for one, have seen a big change in the way GLWA interacts with the communities as opposed to the way DWSD interacted. They're very open and transparent. That has been a very workable group, and it's kind of surprising because some of the same players are involved, but they're just under a different management style out of Detroit's control. So they created the One Water Partnership as an effort to just to show that this is a regional effort. As we go forth, it's no longer suburbs versus Detroit. It's we are all one and going forth. Tom's going to try to.
I went there. I was part of the representatives to hash out the One Water contract itself. One Water is the regional effort, as Mark says. It is also, they used to have separate entities. You had a sanitary division and you have a water division. They want to make it a One Water so everyone is as one, not separate people come to this one, separate people. Everybody pretty much in the system has sanitary that goes to them, and they also purchase water from them. So by having One Water, their concepts will be all the same instead of two different divisions. That's what this whole thing is, to get everybody on board with one system. And we're all part of that system, kind of like we're going to be in Duwa, but now this is all more bigger regional effort. And I agree with Mark. Everything I've been in part of with Great Lakes Water Authority has been nothing but good. We had rate increases. We set our piece on what we had problems with the way they did it, and they actually listened. Detroit prior to this would tell you go home. They at least listened. They're going to do some sampling for us that's costing them money because we asked for it. So this whole concept, I think, is a great thing. In that meeting also for the One Water contract, they discussed how Phoenix, Arizona, Cleveland, Ohio, and a couple other big major metropolitan areas are looking at Great Lakes Water Authority, how we as a region are doing it, and they want to model themselves after it. So it's a really good thing. And the concept is, like I said, the One Water contract is really just saying we agree to be all one with water and sanitary from their systems.
Not to cloud,
I hope that
not
explained
to
it.
cloud the water situation here, but we still send 75% of our wastewater goes to DUWA, the Downriver Utility Waste Authority, and 25% goes to Detroit, or to GLWA. So I guess we're One Water in the portion of the city.
We're unique.
Yeah, we're
very
one of the few.
unique. We're one of the few that do that. And even though he said 25%, they're still receptive to us for our little 25%, which is very good.
I mentioned at the meeting a couple of weeks ago that, Tom's been, since he came on board as the director, we've been involved, Tom's been involved, Bruce Hammond's been involved in a couple meetings, Bob and Amanda are active in a couple groups, I'm active in the communications work group, and I was just allowed, brought on to help select the next facilitator for, the facilitator's leaving after 17 years. So I was able to help select that new group that came in. And we got a nice compliment from one of the people, and it was actually the old facilitator, who said Allen Park went from 0 to 60 like that, and just in participation. And I think a lot of it has been in the last 6 months of just being actively involved at that table. And again, as you're actively involved at that table, your voice is being heard a lot more. And I think it's just one of the obligations that we have as a community is to send representation to these meetings and make sure our voice and our 28,000 residents' voices are heard.
Are there any other questions on this matter? Hearing none, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. It's carried, thank you. Final resolution to authorize and schedule the CDBG program year 2018 public hearings for December 19th and January 23rd for approximately $136,170.
Support.
Councilman McLeod has moved. Councilwoman Gavreki has supported. Any questions? Don't hear any. My question is, this is not for the
This is-
repatriation of the
Yeah,
additional
no,
funds. This is
This
actually,
is our regular allocation.
Okay.
And I apologize, I said 98,000 earlier. 136, 170 is our allocation for Allen Park.
okay, that's what had me a little confused.
Yep, sorry about that.
If there are no questions, I'll ask for the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That's carried. We're at other business. Any council member wish to make a statement?
I'll be real
Councilman
quick
DiGiulio?
there. I just want to congratulate our newest police and fire civil service, Mr. Malcolm Beaton. He was elected by the police officers in the city and the firemen in the city. They were the only ones that voted on that. So congratulations, Malcolm. You're our man now. Thank you.
Councilwoman Gavreki.
Thank you. Thank you for coming tonight. Earlier this evening, in part of the invocation, it was asked to keep in your prayers Jerry Williams and his family who had passed. But he's not only part of the chaplain corps, but he was also an Allen Park Melvindale CERT member as well, and he did a lot with CERT as well. So just do keep him in your prayers. The family probably needs him. He was real active in taking bears to Children's Hospital, I think, on Christmas Eve night, too. So, yeah, they're going to carry on the tradition without him this year, but they promised him that. So just keep him and his family in your prayers. Thank you. Have a good night.
Councilman Rohr?
I guess for clarification, with didn't they have a vote for other individuals for the commission, police and civil service?
Yes.
And who were the other that were chosen for that?
Retired fireman Gary Jones.
Were you asking who was elected or?
Yeah, who was, no, who was elected for that?
And
They-
the
didn't they
other
choose?
person nominated was teacher Bob Lloyd.
Okay.
Through the chair, I think what you're Jonathan A. Young is the city appointed, the mayor and council appointed. Mr. Beaton, like Mr. DiGiulio said, police and firemen appointed. Now there's going to be a third member who's known as a neutral member. So, yeah,
Okay.
the other member, right now, there are only 2 out of 3.
Got it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But those two picked the third one, right there?
Correct,
Mike?
sir.
That those two will get together and decide who the third one will be?
Yep.
Thank you, Mike.
Any other comments by, our treasurer?
Our tax bills will be mailed out tomorrow, and if you do not receive one and you are expecting one, please give us a call, and we'll get one out to you. If you do receive one and you have an escrow account, and your mortgage company is supposed to get it, again, give us a call so that we can make that correction and send it on to the mortgage company. And they're due February the 14th.
Thank you.
Ms. Armstrong, did you say the tax bills are coming out tomorrow?
We're mailing them
They're mailing it
tomorrow.
Well, Merry Christmas to you, too.
You know I have to do this every year.
Merry Christmas to you. That's my Christmas creed I give this.
No booing is necessary. Mayor Pro Tem, did you wish to? Oh. Well, I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving. I would say that at the the lighted street parade and then meeting, Mrs. Claus came with Santa this year to see the children. But for the first time, he gave the biggest and oldest child there a present. First time I ever got a present from Santa Claus was this year, so it was very nice. I think Mr. Hawkins had something to do with it, and I thank you, Patrick, for that. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Oh, wait a minute.
The leaves or anything, or no?
Yeah, I forgot. Joe,
Oh,
our city attorney has looked up the ordinance.
yeah, so I think someone mentioned, just to verify that, we do have an ordinance with respect to leaves in the street. And I did find that, so first offense is a civil infraction, second offense, civil infraction, third offense is a misdemeanor. And you could be ordered to clean it up, and if the city cleans it up, the city could assess costs, so.
What's the ordinance, Joe?
what falls from the tree though, Mr. Covier? What falls from the tree into the street, that's okay, is that correct?
Well, this talks about dumping, so if you actively.
Dump stuff.
Yeah.
Rake it into the street is a no-no.
That is right. So, now you can, if you want to compost, you're permitted to do that, but it must be no closer than 20 feet to any occupied dwelling. And it has to be maintained in a sanitary manner. So, and then finally, when's the last day of pickup of leaves? December
15th.
December 15th. All right, thank you. I'm sorry? Oh, it's 38-30. And then we have a general littering ordinance also. That's it.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn?
Support.
Councilman Rourke is moved, supported by Councilman DeGiulio. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned at 6:37.